moment to test that technology. But unlike human beings, not all vaccines are created equal, and each of these come with their own sets of challenges in order to develop. Like Dr. Swaminathan pointed out, some of the new DNA and RNA vaccines need to be kept in minus 70 degrees. Now, these are programmatically extremely challenging. What we're doing to, have an expeditious vaccine. And in many ways, I agree with Dr. Ella that while there's no trade-offs in science, we are collectively making some trade-offs, because in reality, you would expect a vaccine to be over 90% efficacious. But all of vaccine development, not just now, historically has to be viewed in the context of risk. Now, when you had widespread polio, we agreed to take the risk that when you take get polio because of the vaccine. But that's because the risk of polio was so high. I think COVID is similar. The fact that WHO put out TPP requirements for 50 to 80% efficacy tells you the trade-off that we're willing to make, but never at the cost of safety. Because the last thing you want to do is make a situation even worse. Now, coming to our own candidates, we've been working on an RBD protein candidate, and the expression system we're using is yeast, it's Pichia. It's tried and tested. We've made hundreds of million doses of hepatitis B on that platform. And I think much like ourselves, many companies are choosing platforms that they are familiar with, that they have infrastructure for. Because the key to speed is, 150 candidates are not going to be able to make the vaccine in hundreds of millions of doses. And I think that's very key, to marry the technology with the infrastructure and the track record and capability. Now, our choice of RBD was dictated by the infrastructure match that would best allow us to make vaccine as quickly as possible. And so far, we're going to start phase 1 studies in September, but from the manufacturability perspective, we have enough data that assures us that we'll be in a position to produce 80 to 100 million doses a month of this vaccine from the get-go. I think that's crucial, because in the early years, you're going to have a demand-supply gap and allocations. Everybody is going to fight over it. So it's really important to be able to scale quickly, and when we talk about challenges, we can discuss that. But in my mind, the reason it will be expeditious is because we are making certain trade-offs in context of risk, but not in relation to safety. We may be making trade-offs in terms of the expectation on timing of protection, because we may say, hey, it's okay if it protects us for 1 year, we'll take it yearly as opposed to a lifetime, but really not at the cost of safety. And the second most important factor is having large-scale infrastructure that you can deploy these technologies into. I hope that answers.
No, absolutely. In fact, before we go to scale, before we talk about how, like Dr. Swaminathan pointed out, some countries tend to hoard, at the cost of developing nations, etc. Before we go into that, I think one important question that is currently sort of has been overlooked in the past, but has come to the fore now, is how competition, such as you, all three of you, or in fact other vaccine manufacturers in the country, including Serum and others, in a country like India, where government doesn't spend too much on R&D, government per se does not spend a lot of money on research and development. Of course, we encourage private sector to invest in R&D. We encourage private sector, of course, to take the risk. And of course, the reward also will be that much higher. The fact is, this is the first time you three are sharing a podium or a platform, on a vaccine development, or especially in light of COVID. Let me ask you, Anand, Indian Immunologicals again has a long track record. How do we ensure as a government, be it the Telangana government or be it government of India, how do we ensure that while you actively compete with each other, while you actively race up against each other in development of a vaccine, in pursuit of vaccine, isn't there scope for you to collaborate, work with each other, and also talk to each other, engage with each other, so that when humanity is faced with such a huge crisis, Should we not be coming together more often as industry, as government, as competition, to collaborate and to come out with more coherent and synergistic strategies? Your thoughts on this? Then we can go into other things.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for organizing a platform where at least three manufacturers who are supposed to be one of the largest in India to come together. As you rightly said, that COVID-19 has offered us a tremendous challenge, especially for all the vaccine manufacturers to come out with a candidate vaccine at a very, very rapid speed. We are, in fact, some of our companies are in talking terms with each other to see if we can combine together to use our facilities. Here actually we don't call this as a rat race or something, because here when humanity is at risk, like we are always talking to each other to see that if we can agree on using our combined strength to bring about a vaccine at the fastest pace. In our case, we at Indian Immunologicals, there are various, as Dr. Soumya said, that there are various platforms being pursued. We have chosen a live attenuated codon de-optimized platform. The live attenuated codon de-optimized platform gives tremendous advantage for a country like ours. Especially this vaccine needs to be administered right from children to senior citizens. So if the vaccine is going to be priced very high, then it's going to be totally unaffordable for any government. Like I heard one of our competitor vaccine companies saying that a vaccine will be priced at 1,000 rupees a dose. 1,000 rupees a dose for a country of our size. And if you want to achieve, let's say even 70%, because 70% is a number which is given to as a number for herd immunity. So if you calculate our population of our size at 1,000 rupees, it's going to be several lakh crores of rupees which will be spent on vaccination, totally not feasible. So we have taken an approach which is a very difficult approach, because in our live attenuated vaccine technology, it will stimulate both humoral immunity and cell-mediated immune response, and probably 1 or 2 doses is sufficient for, we expect that 1 or 2 doses is sufficient for the entire lifespan, and the cost would be not as high as well. So, under normal circumstances, live attenuated vaccines would take several years to develop. If you see, there are very successful live attenuated vaccines like measles vaccine, which is rubella vaccine, which is being used now. But we have modern technology called codon de-optimization. With that, with the help of our collaborators in Australia and in the US, we have almost constructed 20 live attenuated codon de-optimized viruses. We will start the mice studies in September. And then we'll do the non-human primate studies in October. And we are planning to start the phase 1 trials as early as January 2021. So the thing is, our approach takes a little longer because technologically it's much more challenging to do. But then when it comes as a vaccine, then we will be the most cost effective, and it will be a vaccine where you administer once or twice and then you don't have to administer for the rest of the life. So that's the approach that we're taking. And in the meantime, we do have spare capacity. If any of our friends want to utilize some of our fill-finish capacity, they are free to approach us, and we are always happy to share our capacities.
Did you say free to approach, or did you say free to use as well? Thank you, Anand, for that generous offer.
Could I
Krishna?
just make a quick comment on the collaboration?
Please.
I was in discussions with others from the Serum Institute. We have an association called the Vaccine Manufacturing Association, in which Indian manufacturers are part of that. And in that context, we've been in discussion over several policy issues, and this certainly came up. There's a principal understanding between us that we will deploy capacities for each other. And what's important to understand, it's not just in the context of COVID, but while we're trying to develop COVID vaccines, we have routine immunization commitments and supply commitments on Rota, on DPT, Penta. But it's not easy to deploy capacity with each other because of the way the regulatory system is set up. So if father wanted to say that, B, you fill my pentavalent because, I have COVID obligations, for us to do that, we have to potentially go through clinical trials, but requires a lot of regulatory work and potentially 6 to 8 months before we even are able to do that. So if we can shift the needle there, it allows more flexibility for us to be open. But I think in principle, we all want to deploy infrastructure in a way that best serves humanity at a critical time like this.
I think you put it really, really pointedly. Krishna, would you like to also comment on this idea of collaboration?
I just want to say that I'm glad you organized this meeting. We may be competing, all three of us, but we are all of us competing with infectious disease. Please keep in mind that we may compete in the marketplace, but we are competing against infectious disease. That is common goal for all of us. Yes, Indian manufacturers need the time now to collaborate more. It's easy to collaborate with the US and other people, but with India, it's a little difficult because we have cultural problems. We don't trust our own brothers, that's unfortunately. So the culture has to change. But definitely that is required. But I want to say one more important point in front of Honorable Minister. India is manufacturing 100 doses. Serum Institute is only making 30. 70% of the other vaccine comes 3 manufacturers. Keep that in mind. That means 70% of India comes from 3 manufacturers. That means Hyderabad is nothing less than Serum Institute. Please keep in mind. As a single company may be different, but all 3 manufacturers, we are more than double than a Serum Institute as a combined strength of Hyderabad. And I want to tell you that partnership is now, the disease is getting complex. I think we need a partnership. We are buying from tetanus from BE now. We said we have to stop importing things rather than we collaborate among ourselves. And I think it will start right now. I think the minister has organized this meeting. It brings some comfort level to all of us also in a way. But I can tell you one more thing. Telangana will lead innovation in India. Please keep this line tagged. Okay? Telangana will lead the innovation of India. There is nothing less. Because it's not that because minister is here, I'm telling you this. I'm seeing the ecosystem that we are building in. You see this sort of ecosystem of manufacturing, R&D, very high intense. Bangalore but actually we have better ecosystem than any other state of the country. But I think we need to see, and actually we have done typhoid conjugate, first vaccine in the world. So that comes from Hyderabad. So everything is going to come from here. So there's nothing less than that. And I think we are nowhere less than any other companies in the world.